Hi, my name is Devyn, and the coolest shit I've ever done is all in the last year. I had a baby, I raised $65,000 for the kids of St. Jude, and I held my first MocoCon with 75 people in person.
Hi, my name is Derek, and the coolest shit I ever done is the one thing she didn't mention is an event that goes all of April to support small businesses. And just in the month of April in 2024, we did 2,165 sales for small businesses that month alone, supporting small businesses through our event.
Welcome back, my creative nerds, to the Do More Cool Shit podcast. I'm your host, Sean McDonnell, and this is episode 64, where I'm hanging out with Devyn and Derek of MocoMade. This episode, of course, every time I got a guest, you can go watch it. We're on YouTube over there, or you can stick out and watch and listen to wherever you listen to your podcast. And I hope you're having an amazing week. I hope that you're getting ready for the end of the year. I hope that you're you're making your list and you're checking it twice. It's been an amazing year so far, and this is going to be our last guest episode, and I couldn't ask for two better people. Two, that's right. I didn't bring you one. I brought two extra people for the end of this year. Devyn and Derek are siblings who have been on Twitch and makers and creators, and they're just energetic, amazing, awesome, and consistent, as you're going to hear people who have been doing have been on their journey for a long time. But of course, before we get into that, I always want to go backwards and I want to look forward. So if we look backward, I really want to talk about cognitive diffusion again. If you haven't gone back and listened to episode 63, I think you really have to. It's all about separating your thoughts from yourself. It is jam-packed with info. It's jam-packed with exercises. And I hope that you guys can really dig into that and really just think about what that means and how that can improve your life. So if you haven't, even if you don't go and listen to that episode, please look up cognitive diffusion and start putting some of that practice into your life. And of course, if we're going to look forward, we got episode 65 coming out on December 23rd. That's right. December 23rd, I'll be back, and I want to talk a little bit about, we're talking a little bit about consistency in this episode. I want to talk about what you're willing to do in 2025 to move you forward, and just give you some ideas and some thoughts around what that's going to look like. I'm going to talk about this podcast specifically and what I'm hoping to do in 2025 and where we're going to go from there. And so look forward to that. That's coming up again in 2 Mondays from now, December 23rd. We'll be back. But let's get into this episode because, God, it's a good one. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. We talk about attitude changing so much, and just having a positive attitude, having an attitude. We've talked about, changing your mindset, cognitive diffusion in the last episode. Absolutely. Derek and Devyn have this mindset that this is their career and that's what they're doing, and you're going to hear about it. We're going to talk about energy. We're going to talk about being human and being real. There is so much jam-packed in there. So thank you for joining, and I will see you on the other end because here's the conversation right here. All right, great. Well, welcome to the Do More Cool Shit podcast, Devyn and Derek. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean. It's so good to be on.
So, Derek, wait. So you also had a baby, Derek? Is that what I heard?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
actually, kind of.
I might.
You did.
I didn't think about that when I said that, but I didn't expect her to list everything. So I was like,
Right.
well, I gotta get that in because that is the one thing she didn't say, and we did it together.
Well, to be fair, I went upstairs. I was making my coffee before this, and I said, James, that's my husband, what's the coolest thing I ever did? And he goes, you married me. No. And he said, okay, you had our baby. And I was like, oh my God, I pushed out a whole human. I forgot about that. Like, that's pretty freaking cool.
You did the ultimate making of things. You made a human. Yeah.
So I was like, I guess I gotta say that because in every iteration of the coolest thing I ever done, I wasn't even gonna mention that.
Well, there you go.
I'm not the parent, but I'm certainly around Ray quite a lot for someone who's not a parent. Maybe more than some parents sometimes.
That's fair. Yes, just to be clear, you two are siblings, right?
Yes, we're siblings.
Okay, I just want to make that clear for anybody.
Not married.
For anybody that does know who MocoMade is, just that's clear. So, and I'm bringing up MocoMade, and we talked. I would have said this already, but what's MocoMade? What is Moco?
We are full-time artist variety content creators. We stream every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 Eastern time.
We make cool shit.
Just like, we make cool shit and we do random shit.
Yeah.
Right, a lot of random shit.
Yeah. We're known as
we are the shit show.
Yeah. We are known as the sibling shit show and we never change our title because you never know what's on the other side of that click. We could be having a conversation like this, talking business, running around the studio playing baseball, which is a game that we actually play on stream, doing art, playing video games, and that's what we do, and that's what we bring to the table, and that chaotic nature of who knows what we're up to on the other side of that click is a big reason people click in to see what's going to happen next.
What literally is Moco though? What's Moco?
Moco is literally Moses and Company.
Okay.
As basic as it gets.
Okay.
That's the S corporation. We have 3 businesses that operate under Moses and Company. MocoMade being one of them, and Moco being short form. We've kind of always called ourselves Moco before we were content creators and before MocoMade was a thing. Moses and Company was made knowing we were going to kind of call it Moco.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very cool. When did you guys? So let's go way back. So before Twitch, before any of these things. Obviously, your brother and sister. When did you decide that you should work together? Who was making shit first? Who were you making shit together?
Oh, wow, you want to go all the way back?
We got to figure because I got to figure this out because it's not brothers and sisters that to work together. And
it's a crazy story.
The creative side, at least, started with me, I would say, like from birth. I was born with a drive to create art in some way, whether it was poetry or song lyrics or, I've always had a paintbrush. We joke that I've had a paintbrush in my hand more than I've had a pencil my whole life. And that's actually the truth. But it wasn't until Derek decided that he wanted to explore his creative side that we made a business out of it.
Professional art became a thing. I'm the one that pushed. I'm the one that sold.
A million years later.
I'm the one that learned how to do leather work and made a product that we sold before she ever did, even though she arted her whole life. Now, maybe she did a thing here or there and some people paid her, but talk about professionally and as a business, it wasn't until I made the first hookah hose, which was our first creative business, but not our first business, that I sold something and then I brought her in on that and got her painting and burning leather. And that's kind of how the creative side of our business, started. But we were
working together and started our first business before anything creative, which is DMed, a medical scrub company. It was actually our mother's idea, who Derek did it as his capstone class in college. And I also explored it.
So we could get funding and whatnot.
I explored it in college as well. And when Derek graduated, we started actually trying to bring those scrubs to fruition. And we did. I mean,
we did. I'm wearing them.
You can't even see it. He's wearing the pants.
This was not planned, but I'm actually wearing the pants right now. I wear them all the time. They're like, they're like athleisure wear, but designed for medical professionals. So they're super comfortable, super stretchy.
So that's when we actually started working together.
You started making pants.
Yeah, making scrubs.
Yeah,
medical
so I
scrubs.
actually, I got a job in apparel manufacturing. We were searching for someone to supply to manufacture for us for the scrubs, and I got a job in apparel manufacturing. I learned from the inside out about apparel manufacturing while working from the outside in to start this company, and that's when I got the spark of creativity to actually make something, because I was an executive assistant. I was like my boss's extended arm in the factories, doing everything but sitting on a sewing machine and sewing. And I was like, I want to sew something. Like, my mom sewed all of her own clothes growing up, and I want to learn to sew. And I made hats. They're actually, you can see them hanging behind Devyn, the first few things I ever made. Yeah. I made some hats, which were a really difficult item to make for the first one. And then I bought some leather to make hats with. Never did that. Made that hookah hose, and someone offered me money for hookah hoses. And I was like, Devyn, you should be doing this with me. And I convinced her after a little bit. And man, the series of events that happened from there to get where we are today is, if any single one of those events didn't happen, we wouldn't be here. And we wouldn't be here chatting with you and know you either. And that's crazy.
Mainly the pandemic.
Yeah, mainly the pandemic. Yeah. But before, when you started making stuff, and you like, I don't know, that like, what was that draw? Like, what made you think you could sell anything? Because a lot of people make shit, but people are like, it's not very good. I can't sell it, blah, blah.
Honestly, sorry,
yeah.
keep going.
No, it's okay. What made you different? What made you say you could sell shit?
I didn't
it was
think
the
we could.
community. It was
the community.
When we started streaming, so we lost our job in the pandemic. I was also working in New York. I was starting a whole nother business. I was the CXO of a whole different business, working with visas. Crazy. The pandemic happened. The hub was in New York. It put me home. I worked from home for about like 3 months. No one was getting international visas because no one was coming here. And I lost my job. And so we started making, but really we decided to start making together, FaceTiming. And Derek's like, I want to stream. So fine. I was like, well, what am I going to do? Why don't I stream with you? Like, I don't have a job. I can't get a job.
That's how streaming happened, but not how
no, but this is how it
happened.
When we started streaming, we were only making hookah hoses. That was our only thing. And it was really building a community here that everyone watched us, but no one watched us for hookahs. No one smoked hookah.
It's a very niche product.
So they wanted our art.
Not even the hookah, just the hose.
Ultra niche.
The hose.
Right.
Just the hose.
It doesn't get more niche.
And because of that, that's what birthed it. That's what we started making things that other people would want.
It was a hookah community too, though, that played the same role in that purchase decision.
Yes.
Like, because we were very active. That was like an activity Devyn and I did we still smoke from time to time, me more than her not really so much anymore, but very infrequently. But it's something we always did to hang out. It was our thing that would make us sit down and just chill and hang out with each other. And I especially started making content in that community. I became an admin on a page that had 5,000 members. We started throwing events in that community. It's where we kind of got some experience with like event planning. We threw like a high-end event in New York City that was like super high-end, suit and tie kind of thing. We threw an event in Vegas through that community. I've done recorded content, podcast content, and live streams all through that community. And that community was like, wow, that's cool. Like, you should keep doing that. And then someone else was like, hey, you want to trade? I have this really cool, rare thing. And like, I know you're not selling yet, but you want to trade? I was like, yeah, let's trade. And then someone offered me money one day. I was like, wait, I didn't think someone would offer me that. Like, that's what this is actually worth. And again, the community, the same way that we have on Twitch, that community was encouraging. And that community was like, I am willing to pay you for this. And I told Devyn that they were willing to pay us for this. And then we found out you could paint the leather and it was over. Like, it's when we learned we could paint the leather, that's when things really came full circle. And when we really started collaborating and building and growing. We always knew it couldn't be a full-time thing because it was so niche. But that's the opportunity that Devyn said first, actually. Twitch opened that door.
Right.
We needed the money from the hoses, especially after losing our jobs. But we always knew that we needed to move away from that. We still do that, but we need to move away from that and into the general market. And here we are 4 years later doing just about anything. From anything. We do so many different things. And,
I've seen a lot of shit. We've seen I've witnessed
a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But that, it's really funny. It's one of the things that I admire about you. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation was because there are so many people that are frightened to like try anything really. And to me, I love that you guys have just always been like, yeah, we make this now.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I don't know, and you're like, why, how, why? Like, do you think it's because you have a great community? Do you think it's because you have each other that you're like pushing each other to just keep trying shit?
It's a combination of a bunch of things. I can tell you right now that when we're together, we're not just siblings. Like, we are best friends. Yeah. We're business partners. We're neighbors. We couldn't possibly spend more time with another person. And it's a genuine relationship. It's not for show. It's not like we are each other's comfort person. Yeah, we are our best selves when together. Yeah, so always. That's why people say, well, you stream without Devyn. I've streamed with Mom a few times when she's been on a vacation or whatever. But like, no, not the same. We're not the same. And we won't ever be the same because we're the best version of ourselves together. Yeah. And we're both just very motivated people. And that helps drive us. But we're not scared of that failure that I feel like holds people back. Yeah. A lot of makers in general back. We're all our biggest critic. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, that stifles them. That stops them from ever trying.
because they don't want to fail. But like, how do you learn if you don't fail?
Yeah. We're always we're always saying,
so that's
like,
kind of how that's really how it happened.
we're not in the business to turn down business, and like if you say that we could do something, we say yes before we even thought about if we can actually do it.
Yeah,
And then we go figure it out. It's like a new challenge. Like I just did a Jedi belt for someone. I never have done a belt at all, and now I have to do a cosplay. It's supposed to look right, and I have to design the whole thing from one picture I was given. And I did it. I didn't know that I was going to be able to do it when I said yes, but I did it. And that's because of the skills I developed, the confidence that comes with developing those skills. But also, like, this community that we built, like, that's a core concept, a core pillar of our community is, like, the hardest part is just fucking doing it, just trying it, just doing it. Like, and that's why we want to create the space that we create. It's a hub for all things, not just art being the main focus, but art, content creation, and life. Just go do it.
I mean, and like, look at all the people that you see in the communities around us of people saying, I'm going to start streaming soon. And you hear that for a year, you know, like start now, start with what you have right now. Well, it's not perfect yet. It is never going to be perfect. Press that freaking button. Yeah. You know, just do it. You just have to. We hit this button. So that's how. That's literally how. We hit that button all the time, and we never mean that it's actually easy because it never is. No. But we talk a lot about manifestation and like that you have to believe in your soul. You can't just say I want to do it, but then be fighting yourself in your mindset that you can't or that maybe it's not good enough. You have to believe for sure 100% in your soul that you can go do that thing. And then you stop holding yourself back and you actually do go do it. Yeah. And we joke with the easy button. It's not easy, but we remind ourselves all the time, just do it. It's easy. Just, just raise $65,000. We did it when we were raising. Just raise $50,000 for the kids. It's easy. We were terrified of that $50K number. We were so scared. We were just like, guys, next week we're just gonna wake up and we're gonna raise $50,000 for St. Jude, and it's gonna be easy, okay? And that's the mentality we have, and we believe that mentality. It's not just for show. We believe it, and you got to manifest those things, and the all good can happen when you stop getting in your own way. And a lot of artists and content creators get in their own way, whether that's mentally, physically, with their art, a lot of different ways. They get in their own way a lot, and people got to just get out of their own way, and so much more can happen. It's true.
What do you think contributed to you guys getting out of your own way? Because I'm sure, like. Well, or maybe it was just ingrained in you. But Devyn, like if you were, holding a paintbrush when you come out of the uterus, like how did that, like, did you ever feel like, oh, I can't do this, or I couldn't, like, how do you deal with that? Like when you guys have had have you had failures that you've been like, oh fuck, I wish we would have done this different, or how do you pick yourself up out of that?
Yeah.
Oh, we've failed so many times.
Failed.
We have failed more ways than we have time to discuss.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We failed a lot.
I mean, we've been doing this over 10 years.
There's always another canvas. You can always paint over a piece. You can always start a new piece. But like,
I feel like we can answer this better for each other. I have something that comes to mind immediately for you.
Well, I have something that I've said a lot as well, but go ahead. Answer for me.
Okay. My answer for her is for the first 27 years I was alive, I didn't even see a lot of her art. She didn't even want to share it at all with the world. Yeah. It was not for anyone's eyes. Mom saw maybe a little more than I did, and I saw very little. And her first art being poetry, especially. That's not the art she does on stream, but she is an amazing writer as well. But the biggest thing that got Devyn out of her own way is when for me, from my viewpoint from the outside looking in, is when I convinced her to start painting hookah hoses and selling her paint work and selling her art. I still some days don't believe that ever happened.
I don't know.
Because that was a long time coming, like getting out of her way of selling her art. Like she never sold it before that.
But there's a pivotal moment in my life when things changed. And I don't know how deep we like to get on podcasts, but I got clean when I was 18. I was a really bad drug addict and I got clean. And from that moment on, I lived. And I decided like nothing's ever going to keep me back. Nothing's ever going to hold me back because I'm alive, right? So like I can do whatever the heck I want now as long as I live. And my mindset on life and on everything changed after that. I'm not afraid to take risks anymore. I did one of the hardest things anybody can do, in my opinion, and
Yeah.
I'm alive. And
Yeah.
I don't know. After that, it was like nothing's scary anymore. And I live my life like that. Like I am all gas, no brakes. That's how I live.
She
my
lives
life.
in
Yeah.
ultimate la la land.
in the ultimate
seriously.
like blissful la la land that I both admire and
I do.
sometimes wish she wasn't always there, but you know she
Yeah.
always is.
Because I'm
But I also
constantly
admire
reminded
her for
I'm
it.
alive. Like, frick yeah,
Right.
we're all alive.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't
Right.
have a near-death experience to realize that life is in, like, don't take life too seriously. You know, it shouldn't take that. But sometimes it does. And for a lot
Yeah.
of people, it does. And I do want to be here to remind people not to do that. Because if you just
Yeah.
let go and, you know, not take yourself so seriously, you'll be amazed at what you actually let yourself achieve.
Yeah, and isn't it amazing? Like when that happens, it doesn't always work out, but holy fuck, can it ever work out? Like, you know, global pandemic. You guys are on Twitch. Look at where the fuck we are now. Like near death
Yeah.
experience, selling your own shit, living your own life. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Like, why does it take a crisis for, especially for artists and creative? Like, why do we need a goddamn crisis? That's why I'm, you know, trying to have as many of these conversations. Like, you don't need a
Yeah.
crisis. Just wake up one day and be like, hey, let's fucking live. Let's try shit.
Yeah.
Well, then what are you? What's your crisis? Sure.
You know,
How did do more cool shit start?
Well, I mean, I've told this story many times, but I'll tell you guys. You know, part of it was I grew up in a very small town, and I had a lot of people around me that were very afraid of change, risk, very risk averse, and very unhealthy risk averse. Like scared, anxiety. And I remember waking up and growing up and just not wanting to do that. That was a very unhealthy mindset. And I too was like, fuck, I don't want to live like that. I don't try anything. I'll do it. Like whatever that scared anxiety is, I'm just going to keep plugging away until stuff works. And it's always worked. Like it didn't always work right away, but it works. If you give it enough time, it works, you know? It's like, what's the alternative?
The overnight success, right? The overnight success, the
Yeah.
tiny bit of the iceberg that you see. You know?
You have to stick through it to the highs and the lows,
Yeah.
and keep your head up and your energy correct the whole way through it. Or you know, you have to. It's essential.
And I think when you discover the thing you want to do, that's another thing that I love about you guys too, because you are pivoting so many times. You're making this, you're doing that, you're painting, you're doing leather work, you're doing woodwork, you're epoxy pouring, you're doing all kinds of shit. You're printing shit. You know, you're doing all of it, and it's like if you find the thing that you want to do, or you find the 19 things you want to do, like you can just it's not hard. It's like you're like, oh, I have to make this. You know, I have to make this ball. I have to make this painting.
No, you can make anything. Well, I think a lot of people get themselves into that rut too. Like once they change their hobby into a business and now they're reliant on it for their livelihood, that sucks a lot of joy out of things. I could say for a fact that hasn't happened to me. And I don't think that's happened to Derek either.
No,
but every day's different here, right? Every day is different.
That helps. It helps
do.
that it can be so diverse and so different. And it's like I think it's the biggest fear content creators have is when they get put in a box. And every content creator has this fear, or a lot of them. I won't say everyone, but like a big gaming stream could be no longer a big gaming stream if that game becomes not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Or let's say you are known as simply, and I don't mean simply in that way, but only a acrylic painter, and then you want to do digital art. Well, you can be put in these boxes that will, make you feel obligated and need to do certain things to succeed, even if that's not what you're feeling, or you're not vibing with that, or you want to explore, you want to do this. And it's the ultimate freedom I feel like MocoMade has. And we thank our community for this all the time. We show up and do something different every day. Sometimes we don't even know what we're doing. Like, because we have game redeems that chat has a gazillion points. If they want it to be a gaming stream, they will redeem and make it a gaming stream, and they do. And yet the large majority of people are there because they're there for the energy that the community has, and that brings to the table, and that we bring to the table, and not necessarily what's happening. We say it all the time. My cam freezes all the time. This cam freezes all the time. It'll be an hour that it's frozen. No one told me.
Tells us.
No one told me.
Because they don't care.
Because they're there for the environment and not necessarily what's happening on that screen.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and something that we're well aware of and are so grateful for, because we know that if we're going to do this long term, which we already have done it for 4 years, but we want to do this we want this to be our forever. We need to be able to have that freedom.
Yeah.
We need to be able to have that freedom to do those things. And I mean, I remember saying it. I remember the date. It was in May of 2021 that I said, as the stream starts to take care of us a little more and we start to grow that, we'll be able to move away from hookah, move into other products, and slowly also move into exploration of art, whether we're trying to sell it or not, because
just to fuck around,
just to learn something new.
Right.
We got a lathe to try. Are we going to be doing lathe items for sale? I don't know. Not in the foreseeable future. But I want to bring out a lathe and just lathe something cool one day. And as we get more comfortable financially, because the stream and the income from Twitch is our stability, we're able to explore more art for the hell of exploring art and learning together with our community.
For the fun of it.
And that's the future of Moco. That is so bright. We're never going to not do commissions and not release products and not sell, but we will do more exploration because there won't be that pressure. And that's what artists want. I don't think there's a single artist that doesn't want pressure to do a certain art and or sell it or this or that. Everybody wants that creative freedom. And I feel like we genuinely have it. I'm really grateful.
Well, I think, and do you think I think I know your answer, obviously, but a lot of people create art and then just put art out, right? So there's that kind of artist and creative. I feel like you've built this really cool creative community that's they're there because of you. No matter what you guys do, they're going to be there because of you guys, right?
Yep.
It's not necessarily that you make the best painting or the best whatever, but it's they're there because, like you said, the energy, right? And I feel like some people, one, I either don't know that, two, forget it, three, are really shy to put more of themselves out there, as opposed to they make the painting and then they kind of are here's the painting, just buy the painting. But I feel like more and more we live in this world, especially it's I want to know the person, I want to know the people, and it's okay to tell your story, and it's okay to fuck up and to be a person, right?
It's an emotional connection, right? It's different. It's
a genuine connection,
rather than just that item.
Yeah, and that's what really sells art.
Yeah.
What really sells art is the genuine connection you have between the person buying the art, the artist, and the piece they're making. It's a triangle. It really is. It's not just a one direction thing, like the piece and the person. It's genuine, emotional relationship with that artist and what you're supporting, especially through streaming. You're seeing their lives, at least the way we do it. It's very genuine and raw. There aren't sound, we are our sound alerts. We don't have things coming up on the screen. No sound alerts playing through the headphones.
It's a family movie.
You couldn't find a more raw stream, I feel like, than the way ours operates. That sometimes comes off as unpolished to some people, but to the people who get to know us, it's super raw and genuine. And that's the vibe we go for. Like hanging a sign up. We hang a sign up, but we don't.
Speaking of, it is bang.
It is a bang.
It's a bang.
I can be a little louder.
I heard the baby wake up. I think she's playing.
Hanging a sign up in the stream rather than putting an overlay up. And everybody does their thing the way they do the thing. And that's the beauty of content creation too. It all can succeed and all coexist. Yeah. But the way we do it is super raw, and I love that about our stream. It's not out of laziness. It's out of just this cool, genuine interaction that happens on our stream with no other outside influence to it, except chat's there, we're here, and we're having that connection.
Yeah. When did you think, or when did you you started this journey, you're making some, you're making some hookah pipes, you're doing some stuff, you started the stream. When did you guys both look at each other, or who decided that hey, holy fuck, this is actually working? How do you know that it was working?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, when we started, we just said, this is our full-time job now. I mean, from the moment, I'm not joking. I swear to you.
Job.
We said, we hit the go live button. We had this a desk. I bought a desk for it because we didn't have anywhere to go, and we have 2 old TVs that we still use, and that's it.
Right.
I had
Derek
a
carried
budget
his
gaming
computer.
PC. It was barely able to do what we wanted to do. I carried it here.
Nice.
every day.
Yeah.
And I had to carry it home because if I didn't, during the peak pandemic at the beginning, I would have nothing to do at home. Nothing. I didn't even have a television. I didn't have
Wait,
I don't
you-
watch TV or movies.
Yeah, this is the
Gaming
truth.
was
You're
my
talking
thing.
about a tower PC, like not
Yes.
a desktop.
Yes,
Yes.
a
How
tower
you carried
PC.
a tower PC back and forth. Yeah, okay.
Every day for
day.
3 months, I did that because it was the only thing that could stream this setup, and it was the only thing I had to do when I went home.
When we say just do it, press the button, we really mean it.
Yeah.
We really
Yeah, yeah.
did that.
My friend said,
Um,
"You're not going to play games with me anymore because you're going to bring that PC
And
there,
you're not
and
gonna
you're going to
wanna
be
bring
too
it
tired
back."
to come home." I did not miss it a single day. I
No.
gamed every single night, and I brought it the next morning every single day to stream. I
How many
never
days?
missed
How
it.
many days did you carry this thing back and forth?
Well, it would have been we did
It
five. We
was
did
like
5 days a
90
weekend.
something
It was about 100 days plus or minus. A little over 3 months. I don't know the exact
All right.
time off the top of my head, but
Pretty
Until-
good dedication.
Until the stream, we didn't take out a single payout from Twitch, and
Right.
we only took a payout the day that we could afford a PC for.
yeah, we didn't even
The
fill out
stream.
the the money was just sitting in our like Twitch bank.
That's what we did.
We refused
yeah,
to even
yeah.
put our payment information in there until we
Yeah.
knew exactly where the money was going.
Yeah.
And it helped. I think we paid off some of the table and then paid off the PC
Yeah.
that we bought that we still stream on.
But I
It's-
know the moment though. Here's my paintbrush. I know the moment.
Yeah.
The moment that we were sitting here working and doing our thing, whatever the
Oh, I know what she's gonna
and
say.
Derek
Yeah.
goes, after work, I have to go do XYZ. And I looked at him and I was like, work? After work?
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
was so wild to say after work. Like, that was the moment that we
Yeah,
accepted.
my subconscious was accepting that this was my career.
This is it. This is
because
this-
it was happening. It was all happening in front of us.
which
We
was
knew
probably
we were
like
going.
5 months in. I don't know. It wasn't.
6 to 8 months.
Yeah,
something like
probably.
that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, from the day that we pressed live, we treated this as our full-time job. We showed up every day on a schedule.
Right.
We did not miss a day. We still don't. And that's how we did it.
A lot of these things we're saying here, we preach to our community and
Yeah.
give this advice, but we walk the talk. We don't
Right.
just tell the community to do things. We tell them because we've been doing entrepreneurship in a variety of ways for about a little over 10 years, and we've done it. We've done a lot. We're pretty young to have been entrepreneurs for over 10 years, and we're fortunate to have done that. And we've learned so much through our mistakes and through our successes.
And we're
And
still
we've done it.
at the beginning.
And we're still at the beginning.
I
we
mean,
truly believe we're at the
truly.
beginning. We're not in a place that's I would call us comfortable, not even a little bit. And we got a ways to go to get to that point that's going to make this comfortable. Though we know without a doubt we're going to get there. Or else we wouldn't,
Absolutely.
if we didn't believe that for sure today, that was on the other side of this, we wouldn't be able to be here. Because Devyn started a family. She has a baby. We both have mortgages. We're neighbors. I live right over there, 2.5 minutes. We both have mortgages.
Yeah.
Like, we are all in
Right.
on this.
Right.
There is no backup plan. There is no savings. There is no nothing. It is all in on this because we know this is what we were
Yeah.
meant to be doing.
Yeah.
And,
That's awesome.
You just
know-
have to be a little crazy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one. A lot of people. I would not
You get it.
blame most people for not being willing to take the risk we've taken to be here, and we've been open and honest about that. But like we have taken as much risk as you possibly can. There is no more risk to be taken. But that's
you know
what
what's
led us
interesting
here.
though? Did you even know that they were risks when you were doing it? Because I have talked to so many people through this podcast now, and people always are like, well, I was too stupid to even know that there were risks. Like, I was just doing shit.
No.
Like, you just start doing stuff, right? Like, and it just
In the
drives you and
beginning-
propels you.
In the
And then you're
beginning,
in it, and you're like,
yeah.
wait, what the fuck? What am I doing?
Like
No,
the stuff,
I'm not gonna lie. I
I'm
definitely
fully
knew.
aware.
I knew.
But that's only because we're
we went to
the streaming.
school.
The
Derek
streaming
and I
part of
both
this,
graduated
yeah.
top of our class. We could go straight into a corporate drone status
Sure,
and work
sure.
our way up there. Both of us were built for that, truly.
Right.
And I knew leaving that corporate world that this was a risk.
Yeah.
That I'm going from making and could be making this
Sure.
to
yeah.
starting from ground level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
already been
absolutely knew
entrepreneurs.
risk.
To carrying your computer back and forth.
Yeah,
and
but I'm not risk adverse, and neither is
No,
Derek.
no,
We
not
are
at
very
all.
not risk adverse, you know?
We are extreme
So-
examples of people willing to take risk, but only
When
it was calculated though. It was only because we knew where we were at and
Yeah.
we knew where we could get to and where we still need to get to and
Yeah.
can get to do this. But like we also were like 7 years into being entrepreneurs when
right,
that
when the true
extreme
leap
risk,
of faith happened.
right,
you know, and
right.
we made some crazy mistakes with DMed and stuff. Like, I mean,
Sure.
tens of thousands of dollars kinds of mistakes. Like
It's true.
the first time we imported fabric, I got a call that we were about to be fined $10,000 because I didn't fill out one single piece of paper. And I was like, I called Devyn. I was like, Devyn, we got out of that
10
fine.
G's lying around.
Yeah.
No, beg, Derek, beg. Call
Yeah.
them and beg. We're stupid.
I basically, we played stupid. That's what we did. We played stupid. I was like, what do you mean this
I'm not
paperwork?
ashamed to beg, Derek.
We're producing stuff in America, and yeah, we had to get the fabric from abroad, but it's being produced right in Chinatown in Philadelphia. Like, I don't understand. Like, what? Like, oh, this is your first time importing? I was like, yeah, it's my first time importing. I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, well, I will talk to someone, and they waived it because it was our first time importing. They waived
That's
it.
amazing.
They
That's
waived that,
amazing.
but like that's just one
Yeah,
example.
you only
of,
make
like,
that mistake once.
you know what I
trust
mean?
me.
It's one example, and I
Yeah,
had the people in my corner to not make that mistake, and we still did because I was
Right.
running like the people
You
I work
just
for
don't know.
in apparel manufacturing. They're family. Like they've been invited to moms for Thanksgiving. Like
Right,
I
right.
love that woman. I love Lily.
Yeah.
I forever am grateful for what she taught me. And even still, we made that mistake, you know?
Yeah.
And she knew that. She knew that. I was like, Lily, did you know about this? She's like, no. I mean, yes, you didn't know about that. I was like,
Yeah.
hello?
Yeah. No one told us. But isn't that funny though? So you've had some like major upsets. So even if there are risks, you know that you can survive and walk away from it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because we're
Yes.
I have an
confident that we could do that. Yeah. If we needed
Yeah,
to.
right. And like you can live. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, you're not going to drop
Right.
dead, right? Like, you're going to make
Yeah.
some mistakes, even
And that's
if you had
that's-
to pay a $10,000 fine.
Exactly.
You know,
we figured
whatever,
out.
like that. You know, yeah, whatever.
It circles
it's not
back a
gonna-
lot to what she said as well earlier about like, well,
You just
know,
live.
You just live because
Right.
what else is there to do when you were at the rock bottom she was at? Now, I was not that, but like, you know, that was my
Right.
best friend and my sister. I never went through what she did, but it wasn't
Sure.
easy for me either.
Sure.
You know, and so it's easy to just live. And the thought of we could just go do something else, not something I think about.
Right.
I'm not waking up thinking, well, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to go do this. Not at all. I won't let that mind that can't cross your mind, or else you're not fully all in. You know,
Right.
but the knowledge is there that if I needed to go do something, well, you know, we'll figure it out. Just like we figured out everything else.
You
that
could.
led
You
us
have
here.
done it. You would do it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could.
Yeah. Totally.
And you left, Devyn, you were talking about when you left corporate stuff, or you were about to leave corporate stuff, or you were like, you know, that was the route you could have taken and would have been the easy route. But you go into this more creative, artistic side, and you know you're not going to make $100,000 right away. You know, what did you think you wanted out of what the thing is that you're now doing? Like, what, you know, if was it money, or was it, what did you think you wanted out of it?
No, certainly not money. That was not the first thing on my
right.
mind. In fact, when I lost my job, I applied to like over 100 places. It was something crazy, like upwards of almost 200. I think like 170 places. I swear. I was trying to find a job.
Right.
And no one would hire me, even though everyone was so desperate for employees. I was, you know, applying across the board.
Sure.
What did I expect out of this?
Yeah.
It's actually funny you asked that, because truly I didn't understand live streaming. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I didn't understand that people were going to actually watch us like live.
She was never a Twitch viewer before she was.
that people-
I was.
That people talk back to us, that they like want to show up every day. Like that, I can't tell you. Like Amber Sar, she was our first viewer. She found us the second day streaming. And I had no idea, no understanding that like every time she came back, she was like my best friend. Amber, remember her? Amber, do you stream? Amber, I just thought everyone streamed too.
Dude,
Like,
everybody that came in when we started, Devyn asked them if they streamed. Every single one.
I didn't understand it. It's true.
Right.
And even
You're like,
even
why
when
would
we
you
had-
come and watch this?
It didn't help that
need
Amber
that.
did stream, by the
She
way.
did.
Amber got her
Sure.
mindset
Shout out to
on
Amber.
that.
She's still here. She flew from the UK to meet us last year.
That's awesome.
She's absolutely wonderful. But like, I truly didn't get it. And I was also really nervous. I never wanted to be in front of a camera. So this is like, I mean, now I'm super comfortable, obviously, but I just really didn't know. Derek said he was going to stream, and I said I was going to stream with him. And
beyond streaming, I was the face of the company too. Devyn didn't.
What was on the other side of that?
She didn't want to be the face of the company either at all. Like beyond streaming, just in general.
Yeah, I just said we're doing it. Like if he's doing it, what am I going to do? Be here still applying to jobs? I guess we're doing it together.
I love that.
Actually,
like,
getting our website.
You're going to do it. I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, is that not what happened?
Well,
That's
yeah.
exactly what happened.
What brought us to Twitch actually is another crazy situation. We had a company copying our hookah brand, like everything, and this happens in art. Like you have to understand that if you're putting yourself out there as an artist, you're going to be imitated, copied. Like there's a difference between inspiring and copied.
Inspiration and imitation.
And there's a difference between the two, but this was straight up imitation. But this company went further than just copying everything they did. They reported like old YouTube videos of mine to get my YouTube blocked down. And they successfully got our website blocked on Meta, which was Facebook and Instagram. Mind you, all that whole business was formed on Facebook groups.
And that's the only place that we would have streamed.
Yeah. So I was streaming on Facebook because of that. Because that's where those groups were, and that's where I felt like I should stream because I have a chance to connect with the people who are our customers. Yeah, and then that happened, and I was like, well, screw you, Facebook. My friend Shweevy, who's one of my best friends, followed us through this whole journey, everything we've ever done. He's like, they have creative section on Twitch. I was like, no, I don't. Like, I've watched a lot of Twitch content, depending on what video game I'm into at the time. But I didn't, and that's why we came to Twitch, because that company locked us out of our website from and then, he was like, well, you could try Twitch. I was like, yeah, fuck Facebook. This is not a good platform for live streaming. I was only doing it because of that connection, and now I don't have a reason to do that. So let's go to Twitch. Yeah.
It's a lot. There's a lot of divine things that happened, I would say, for us to end up exactly where we're at right now.
Yeah.
But also, divine, but also kudos to you for like just going with the flow. Like that's also a very hard skill to figure out for a lot of creatives and a lot of people in general.
It's essential. You have to be able to keep your head up through the ebbs and flows, but also kind of like wiggle your way around them. Like seriously, you have to have that mindset. Yeah, the fact that we could just all of those things happen and we're like, well, we're gonna do this now. And then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And then all of a sudden it clicked. And we've been doing that ever since. And you have to have that mentality. You have to be able to be very, very adaptable to change and to unforeseen circumstances, or else you're gonna get caught up real fast. Do
you think you can develop that adaptability like over time, or is that a born thing?
I think that you can make yourself believe anything that you want.
Yeah.
If you repeat to yourself, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to live my life, and you just keep doing that constantly, eventually it just becomes who you are. Yeah. It's like that fake it till you make it, there's some hard truths about that. And as long as you keep faking it, you really will make it.
Yeah.
And it might not be
there's a line with the faking. There's certain things you don't want to be faking it, you don't want to be faking certain things, but the mentality of we faked that we were professional full-time streamers before we really were, and then we became it. That's a good example of that, because we were living that life as that.
Don't be a catfish or something.
Before we went and accomplished it.
Don't fake being a surgeon.
Exactly.
No.
You know what I mean?
But most things.
Or don't fake a personality, or don't fake it.
You get it. You get it.
A lot of people say they want to stream, but I don't know if they really want to stream, if they're obsessed with the idea of what could happen because of streaming.
Yeah.
And if you're not genuinely day after day enjoying the content that you're making, it is going to be so obvious so fast that and you're going to push everyone away. And you have to love it. You have to really love it, or else you will be very obvious right away. And they see everything. They see things I would never imagine that.
And they see it, but you see it, you feel it, right?
You see it. Everybody can see it and feel it. It's a vibe, right?
Huge thing that you're saying, Derek. I feel about a lot of creatives, and like that's when, to me, it's like when you find that spark, it's like holy shit, does the fire ever start fast? And like, you just can't miss a day. Like, the minute you're like, oh, you're like, we're Twitch professionals now and we stream and there's going to be a show 5 days a week. Like, there was probably never a question in your mind of like, there's no like, oh, well, I don't really feel like it today, or I'm sick, or blah, blah. It's like, you can't. And that's how you know, right? You're like, to me anyway, that's how you know you've like, oh, fuck, I found the thing. I want to be an accountant. I want to be a creative. I want to be a car, enthusiast or whatever. Like, the thing that keeps you up and moves you forward.
And it doesn't mean every day is better than the last. Like,
no,
we're all people, right? It's not it's not rainbows and butterflies. We all have bad days, but like, and it's really important to keep your mental health, in check and really take care of yourself, because this could be a mental gymnastics that you have to do as a content creator. That's not something that affects Devyn and I personally, but you take days off, you do this and that, you have to take care of yourself. But you also have to have that mentality that you're going to keep showing up through the good and the bad. And keep, you have to keep showing up.
Yeah.
You can't, as soon as you let that take over you and you're in your own head and then you take some streams off and then it snowballs so fast.
Yeah.
Sometimes the scary part about content creation is you might not ever get it back.
Right.
Depending on how bad it gets,
entrepreneurship in general is just a different breed.
It is.
It just really is a different breed, and
you have to be a different breed. It's not for most.
For it,
it's not for most
because really you can't really just shut it off.
Yeah,
you don't go home and then all of a sudden you just live your normal life. Like, you're constantly thinking about your baby, your business,
right?
You know.
You have to. There's good and bad. Everybody has their ups and downs in their days, and you gotta find that fine balance between taking care of yourself, but also continuing to show up and continuing to bring a consistent and good attitude to the table, even if things aren't, always 100% great. You have to do that. And it's really difficult. And that's the thing in entrepreneurship, beyond content creation, but also content creation, that is what most people, struggle with, because you can't turn it off. Like Devyn said, there's no turning it off.
Yeah.
You're working around the clock.
What are some things what are a couple things that you do to take care of yourself, now that we're talking about that?
I mean, lucky for me, what I'm doing is also taking care of myself. I like to unwind and be in my basement alone painting. Like, that is something that's wonderful. I do like to go to the gym too, but I mean and I love to cook. I get to do these things every single day that take care of me and fill my cup.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Right.
Showing up, hanging out here, that fills my cup. I don't ever feel a need to disconnect, to do something else, to,
it's not something genuinely.
I don't need a recharge. This is recharging.
Everybody everybody's different. They need to do what they need to do. It's not something, fortunately, it's not something Devyn and I struggle with at all.
What do you do to fill your cup?
But like what I do to fill my cup? Well, I
play video games.
I play video games until the DGen hours. A lot of nights, and like Devyn said, we don't have that problem like that. I don't want to call it a problem, but we don't. That's not something that affects us, because
we're doing what we love.
We're doing what we love. We're so fulfilled. We're here with each other, and we genuinely are best friends. And like, Devyn gets to be a full-time mom, which is, something that's super special as well. And I get to be around the baby, as an uncle.
I mean, there's so much more that actually goes into that alone.
Right.
I mean,
so we have, like, I'm super into sports. That's why I've been making all the balls. 'Cause like, man, I've gotten on that, and I don't think I've ever been more passionate about what I'm making than figuring these out. Because I love sports, and now I get to make items that are sport related, and they're relevant. They're actual usable items. Like that is the coolest shit. That is the coolest shit. Like,
Derek wants everyone to touch his balls.
I want everyone to touch my balls. Yes. My balls will finally drop next year. Next year, I will finally drop my balls.
Balls will finally drop. That's.
But like,
that's a clip. That's a clip for us right there. That's your balls will finally drop.
Yes, Derek's. That's going to be the title of the drop when I release these all for sale. It's going to be Derek's balls finally dropped.
That's going to be the title of this episode, buddy. That's going to be Derek's balls finally dropped, and come and check out Dino Dicks. I feel like
But
that's
it's-
the other. We haven't
no.
even covered the dino dicks yet.
Like, not only do we
There's
not struggle
levels
with
to
it,
Moco.
but Devyn and I are both like implementing the things we're passionate about in life into our
Yeah,
work and
yeah.
our art, and that's a beautiful thing too. Like the
I
sports,
mean-
the gaming, even like I game with friends from this community. Like I'm
Right,
meeting
right,
new
right,
friends. We just had someone I raided in with our friend Iota, who I play Tarkov with late at night. Like 6 months ago into another Tarkov streamer, he came in and checked out our stream the other day.
Yeah,
This week.
wicked.
And 6 months
Wicked.
later, it's like that wasn't work. But
Yeah,
at the same
yeah.
time, I am fostering community through that too, and it's not my intention, but it naturally happens because, let's face it, the networking that happens in streaming is the easiest kind of networking because all you gotta do is meet your people and meet friends, meet cool
Right.
people that you resonate with, that you vibe with, and you're networking.
Yeah.
And that's the most organic kind of networking that you don't see in entrepreneurship otherwise. Like it's very, very different outside of this content creation, you know?
There's so many levels to that.
There is.
Just having this as a job, like
Right.
I never ever for a second take it for granted. Like I get to show up, I get to have fun every day, and I get to raise my daughter without anybody else's intervention. Like I don't need anybody else to do
Right.
it. And there's something beautiful about that. I can't imagine being in New York right now and having an infant at home. Like
That is our
I
mentality.
cannot imagine.
Our
So,
mentality isn't to come to work,
it's the best
to come to
thing
stream,
ever.
to go make this or that or whatever. Yeah, that's on our docket. But our mentality coming to stream every day is we're going to have fun today. Just like we
Yeah.
did yesterday, the day before, and the
Right.
day after, and we'll continue to do forever. And whatever that means is whatever it means, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of
Right,
ways, chat
right.
dictates how we're going to have fun. What are they going to troll us with today? What stupid conversation are we going to have about this? What's Devyn going to be hungry to eat today? Because you know she's going to be hungry sometime in the middle of the stream and complain about it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's fair.
That's it. Like, just to have fun. And
That's fun.
that makes the whole filling the cup thing so easy because we're filling our cup actively by being here, by having fun,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, that's wicked. That's wicked. Well, I hope everybody gets to find that. You know, I hope as they listen and go
Yes.
down this journey. So I want to talk about that a little bit because not only are you guys making shit, and you're making a lot of cool shit, but you also encourage and help a lot of people. And one of the things that also I'm like super, I don't know if I'd say what's the word for it. I always appreciate and I love that you guys are doing when you do the big art sale.
Big
Yeah.
PPE.
And you
big
get
PP?
all these artists to come in and sell all their shit. How do you get so many artists? Because so many of them, one, don't want to sell shit. Two, are like scared or nervous to sell it. Like
To
how
be honest,
do you get so many people doing it?
The community created that event.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
did not create that event. The community did. And the community only created that event because we were already fostering this, because it is our community and our stream is just as important for us to be artists as it is for us to encourage people to art, whether they're professional or they want to start. We don't gatekeep
Right.
any art.
The
You build
actual-
something in Minecraft, share it with us. That shit's cool. That's pixel art. It started with that mentality.
But the actual inception of the Big PP Energy, that was just supposed to be our partner party.
Yeah.
So
where we
what
give
happened,
back.
we were going to have this big celebration and partner party, and we've never done giveaways because we always had this thing like we don't want to inflate our viewers for anything because we don't
Right.
want to think that we're higher or at a different spot in our careers than we are. So we never did giveaways.
Giveaways are great, but you got to be very careful because it can, if
it can inflate, right?
If you're not being
Sure.
tasteful about how you do it, it could bring people in for the wrong reasons.
But that's not even the
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah.
The point is, we
But-
got partner. We didn't inflate our viewers for it. We wanted to celebrate, and now we want to give shit away.
Yeah.
So we were
Right,
like,
right.
Derek and I are going to give 50 things away, and that was it. That was going to be the partner party. We were just going to celebrate, give things away, and people are like, "Well, I want to give things away."
Yeah, like I want to party.
And so that first
Yeah.
partner party, we gave like 250 things away, something like crazy like that, maybe even 300.
People were
which was
actively coming in as it was going on and
insane.
continuing to give us things to give away.
So we just
That's
kept
awesome.
giving things away, and in doing that, we were bringing up their website. Like, this is
Right.
look at what they make. It's cool, shouting them out, and all of a
It was
sudden,
just natural promotion. It's like, if we're going to give us this stuff, well, we're going to talk about you while we're giving it away.
Yeah. people were getting sales, and we were like, "What is happening? Like, this is crazy. This is literally Christmas in April."
Yeah.
And for small business.
This was the first one was in May of 2022. We didn't have a sales counter in the community then, but the sales were happening.
And
this was May of 2022.
That happened. The next year, the event already had some clout because people made sales and they couldn't believe it. Now they're excited for next year. Now their friends or people that didn't participate want to participate the next year. And now it feels like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. Like now we better put on the fucking event of our life because now people are relying
now there's a
on
reputation.
us.
And we had that sale counter set up and we were shitting ourselves.
Yeah, we were so scared. Wait.
We decided last minute to not do the counter. To not do the counter. Devyn was like, let's just not put this extra pressure on ourselves to have a counter because what if we don't make that many sales?
Do you remember what happened though?
And then we'll look what will be. Yeah, it happened live.
No, it happened because the night before the event, I shopped. I used the shopping list of everybody that's participating in. I bought 3 or 5 things. 3 or 5 things, and I got there and I was all excited. I was like, "Guess how many things I got? Like, here's the sales."
And then someone else was like, "I bought some stuff too."
No, that's not even it. I literally was like, "We're starting the counter because there's 5 things, so it's not 0. We're starting on the right foot. Let's start the counter."
We did that live on stream. That was live on stream in April of 2023.
Because of my 5.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. We're starting the counter, and I mean now that's what. That's 2.5 years now, and the number is about to hit 4,300 sales.
And I think that next year's PP, people are already planning. It's going to go a month. It's going to be a month long in April, and that's just going to be the thing. That's going to be the event of one of the events of the year.
It's one of the events of the year, and it's also probably the most unique thing that MocoMade does. I don't think you will find. You'd be hard pressed to find another community on Twitch where one of the main focal points, one of the main pillars every single day is to feature other artists and promote and push sales for their sites. Because what happens on the PP is a massive celebration of what happens on a regular basis. Yeah. Because we want people to see their art. Yeah. Share your art with us. Share all over us. We say it every day, right? Yeah. And as soon as someone says, "Wow, that's really cool," link in the chat. Yeah, because we know that as soon as you try to redirect someone to somewhere else, that sale chance drops like 90%, maybe more. But if we promote that right then and there directly in the chat and promote that sale, it's like it jumps 75% in the likelihood of making a sale. And we know that because we've experienced that. And that's why we do it that way. And so it's like it's what makes the event successful is the energy that the community brings to the table all the time for this kind of thing. But also what makes it successful is it's a giveaway event, but it becomes very clear very fast that it's not about the giveaways. Yeah. The giveaways are the pedestal to put that content creator, that artist on to show what they're like, show us what you're about. And then when we show people what they're about, or we're shopping on their site while they're entering that giveaway and sales are happening. Right. So it's giveaways, but the purpose of the event is obviously not about the giveaways. People that are coming just for the giveaways aren't going to stick around for that event. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They're out pretty quick.
Yeah, they don't it's just not
a marathon.
Thing.
It's a marathon. It's not like they pop in and can get a couple giveaways because they got to be present. You got to be there participating. Right.
But that's the coolest thing in my opinion. Like it's the most respectful giveaway ever, and there's freaking 500 of them. You know, it's really cool. It's really cool. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, how long was it this year? How long was it? Was it a week?
18 streamed days.
18 days. Yeah, it was fucking crazy. That's all I remember. I just remember kept checking in, and people were like, "You're never gonna get through." I would check in. I'd be like, "Oh, good, they're on thing number 47," and it's like, half an hour in. Or no,
the one thing we did this year, the one thing we did this past year in 2024 that we didn't do in previous is we stopped allowing people to enter to bring new giveaways in after it started.
And we limited them to 3 slots.
Because we could no longer vet community members that way. If new people are coming in, we've met new people this way. But it was getting to a size that it was impossible to know, can we actually even trust this person?
And the PP would never end.
And it would also never end.
Like if you see what's happening in the PP and you're excited about it and you want to get involved, hold tight because we're doing it next year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right. And you're doing it for a whole month?
Yeah, this year's going to be a month.
We're
I'm
planning
sure
for a
of it.
month. We're going to start April 1st. We've been starting on our partner anniversary day, which is April 7th, whichever stream like lines up for that. But we're going to start on April 1st.
Which is why we've been saying PP for a
Yeah.
very long time.
Exactly.
On this, yeah.
Partner party.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know.
That was also determined by the community.
PP. Big PP energy.
Yeah, big PP energy. We love it.
But I will say that I think that every year we will alter it in some way. Eventually, there might only be one slot per person.
Sure.
Because there will be thousands, you know?
Yeah. And the different slots are meant to give
Keep it
people
to a month, and that's it.
different spotlights to a different, like, group of viewers.
Yeah.
That's why we do it in slots. Because, like, someone on April 2nd might be, you know, this group of viewers, but on April 15th, it's a totally different group of viewers.
Yeah.
And so we give them their slots to give them the 3 individual chances to be in front of a new group of people and be spotlighted for the amazing person, artist, and content creator that they are.
Yeah.
It's the energy for that event that makes it so successful. And that energy exists in our community every single day. But you know, well, it's a month-long party. And I think our reputation precedes ourselves now that when the Mocos throw a party, it's a freaking party. And it goes on forever.
It's going to be a party for a very long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I had popped in and out many times throughout that and was like,
and I'm so proud that like it's
still going.
It is a giveaway event, but it doesn't feel like it's just about it. It doesn't genuinely feel like it's an event about giveaways because it's not. And that was something we cared about because, like Devyn said, we didn't want to inflate things or make things about giveaways because it's a really fragile way to build a platform.
Yes.
And I don't feel like we're building a platform that way through that event, even though it's a massive giveaway event, because we're genuinely supporting businesses.
Yeah.
Really, really actually making a huge impact. Yeah.
So out of all of those things and like dealing with all these artists, what's something you think you've learned about art, or what's something that you either have learned or something that you would want to tell other artists? Because I feel like now you've talked to and met and worked with a ton of artists and creatives.
Yeah.
What lessons can we pull from some of that?
I think that the biggest thing that I try to drive into artists' head is that you could be the best artist and never sell a piece of your life because you won't put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And if you are unwilling to put yourself out there, it doesn't matter how many hours you put into painting. Mm-hmm. And that sounds really harsh. I know it does. But we see it every day. Your portfolio is incredible. Incredible. But you're terrified to go walk into the store across the street and say, hey, can I consignment? Can I put some pieces up here? You know, you're so scared of putting yourself out there to make a sale. And you can't have a dream to be a full-time artist by your portfolio. Yeah. You need to put yourself out there. Get out of your way. That's my biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that I can tell every artist, because I can't tell you how many. I mean, I'm telling you, it's probably like 85, probably 90% of the artists that we see, their portfolio is incredible.
People want art and they love art, but they're scared of the other things that come with it. Yeah. They don't want to do. Listen, we all love arting. If we're arting, we love arting. But there are parts about being a business person and an entrepreneur that aren't necessarily fun. You know, we all have taxes. We all have to do business. We all have to. We have to do these things. Like, you have to be willing to do the things that are not so fun as well. But a lot of artists just kind of want art, and I don't blame them. I get it. I 100% get it. It's a very valid feeling to be like, I just want to make badass art.
You need to hire someone. You need to hire someone to put yourself out there.
But at the same time, if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur and a business person and that side of professional artist, you have to do the other things. Like, entrepreneurship isn't all fun and games. People think when you work for yourself, you can just do whatever the fuck you want. Like, and you can, but that doesn't mean you're gonna. That likely means you're not gonna succeed. That's what people think
we do.
Yeah, because we're very silly. We're very silly and lighthearted. But everybody who actually takes a chance to know us knows we'll totally forego all of that silliness and craziness, and we'll have a serious talk about business. We'll have a serious talk about life. We'll have those hard conversations right in our chat or in our DMs or in a workshop that we run in our Discord. However it needs to happen, we'll do those things. And the more we get to know people in our community, the harder we'll lean on them to push them outside those comfort zones.
Yeah.
Like, and that's something we don't take lightly as leaders of our community and pillars of the art and making community at large on Twitch. Like, we genuinely deeply care about the people of our community and what the success they want to have, and we will push you. And it might sound a little harsh, and we're not being mean, but we're never mean. But we'll tell you what you need to hear, even if you don't want to hear it.
Yeah, get out of your own
And I couldn't
way.
agree more with Devyn. I don't have a different thing to say about what's most important. You have to push yourself outside of your comfort zones. And that's a life lesson, truly. True growth happens in people when you're willing to step outside of your comfort zone. You will grow otherwise, but you will probably not grow at the rate you want to or that you need to succeed in business and entrepreneurship if you don't push those boundaries and really put yourself out there and be uncomfortable. Because most people will say, well, I did that and actually I had fun. Or I did that and they want to buy my art, but they were so scared to do it. They might have spent years not doing that.
Yeah.
And
you always set yourself back, right?
Yeah, you have to be willing to go out of those comfort zones. That's something I feel like I've always been good at for a variety of reasons, just for hell of it. Like, Devyn and I don't get embarrassed. We don't get like ashamed of anything. People are like, what's the most embarrassing story you have for your childhood? There is nothing. We're not embarrassed. We're proud of our relationship and everything that we've done together through the funny, the silly, the dumb. Like, we don't get embarrassed. You don't have to have that full-on mentality, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing.
And the more
to
you
push
do,
the
the easier it gets, right? Like,
it's true.
Like the first time you fail, it's really fucking painful, and you want to put your little head in your shell and go away.
Yes.
But the second time, you're like, okay, well, it happened again. The third time, you're like, and after like the 15th time, you're like, oh yeah, of course I fucking fucked that up.
Yeah.
No, of course I have no business. I have no business knowing what the fuck. Like, I watched one YouTube video and then I tried to do something and it didn't go well. Of course, it didn't fucking go well.
Exactly.
Yes.
I couldn't have said that better myself. Like, the more you do that, the more you push those boundaries and you push yourself out of your comfort zones, the easier it becomes and the more natural it becomes and the faster you start to grow.
Yeah.
Like,
and of course you're going to make
well
mistakes.
Said. Yeah.
And it's okay because also, but I feel like people are scared, and I've said this because my world started in alternative education. That's how I started my business, and I always go back to that because I'm like, people are afraid that they're going to fail that class. Right? They're going to be afraid. Like, there's somebody's grading. I was like, nobody's fucking grading you. Just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Who cares? Nobody's grading. Nobody's going to grade whether you can color inside the lines anymore. So
just
do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
I love that. And that's like, people should bring that mentality to the table more often. Like, and I feel like we're helping that in a bigger way than I ever could have imagined through our community. And what you
are, and that's you totally are, absolutely you are, and that's why I love watching and any great, like, there are a few handful of communities that I like. When people talk about it, I'm like, just go over here, you'll be welcomed. Things are going to happen. You're going to be, and you guys are one of them. And it's like, okay, that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on here was like, fuck, I hope more people just go and jump into the community, right? And like watch your stuff and just be a part of it, because it's like you need to have that group too, like. It's awesome that you guys have each other. There's so many people out there that are solo. Yeah. And it's like, you got to find your group. There are so many groups, and you can't find a better group than going to MocoMade.
And there's so many people, so many artists who were told that they can't art, or they're not good enough to art, or they can't sell their art. Like, they've been told that their whole life, and they come in here and they're like so overwhelmingly supported.
To do anything.
Yeah, to do anything.
To do anything. Yeah.
That it's way beyond art.
I'm so lucky that I have the support system I've had my whole life. Even though I didn't think I'd ever be an artist. And Devyn the same. And now we have this. I always, through streaming, to see our path to success through our art and just our streaming in general and whatnot. But the part I didn't understand that I'm forever grateful for is the impact we're able to have on other people. Not just by creating a fun environment that it's just lighthearted and
a place where they can be themselves.
A place where they can be uniquely
and
themselves.
Be accepted for it and celebrated for it. And
celebrated. Like, we always thank people for being uniquely themselves, being celebrated for that, and being so diverse and bringing, like I always say, like we all are learning from our shared experiences here together. And I don't know everything, and Devyn doesn't know anything, but as a community, we learn so many things. Everything is what I meant to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. He said
Everything.
I don't know
I meant everything.
Devin knows
And Devin
nothing.
doesn't know anything. Devin knows fuck all. Somehow she makes it through the day and had a kid. Look at Eddie, you can do anything.
It was such a classic.
That was such a classic. Like,
was a
I'm
classic.
speaking, but I fumble my words when I'm speaking because I speak so much every day.
And
But I always say, like, I'm so great. I
Yeah.
learn so much for the community. Like, we get to learn from our shared experiences all the time. And, like, they teach us things and we teach them things. And it's a hub for that.
That was
It's a
silly.
hub for that.
Yeah.
And, like, just being a hub to encourage people to do what they're passionate about. Like, I said that at the beginning, like,
Yeah.
passion in people is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And we're just providing a safe space for all people to be accepted to pursue their passions. Like, I love when people get nerd out about their passions. It's my favorite thing in people, and we're providing a space for them to do it, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter to me what it is, as long as it's not hurting other people and it doesn't
Yes.
revolve around
Yeah.
politics and religion. I want you to share
Yeah.
your passions all over me. Like, I want to see people passionate. I
Derek
wanna see
says,
them-
"Be passionate on me." That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
an
Be
interesting
passionate
statement.
all over me, baby.
Shart your passions,
Yeah,
okay?
that's better.
Shart it all
Shart
over
your
me.
That
passions.
is better, Derek.
Like,
Holy
it's
crap.
the best. You can see people light up. You can see people light up when and that's the greatest gift. And we're providing that space for people when they never had that space in their whole lives in any capacity.
Yeah.
And that space alone is giving people the confidence to start that process of stepping out of the comfort zone. It was impossible to step out of the comfort zone where they didn't feel like they had anybody to support them. And
Isn't
then
that
once they
amazing?
do,
That's all it takes
Yeah.
sometimes.
It
is just
does.
a nice
Someone
true.
believing
You
in
just
you.
need
someone
one
believing.
person to say like, "Oh, you're
It's
really good
true.
at this," or like, "You should just Isn't
Yeah,
that fucking
and it
crazy?
being
It's
genuine too.
One
It's
person.
got to be genuine as well, because lots of people are told, "Well, when you start selling that, I'll buy it," and then they're never there. They never.
Oh no,
show
I
up,
always
you know
say
what I mean?
yeah.
That
That's what I'm
happens
always
so
like.
much.
I'm like, no, that's awesome. If they say they're going to buy something, that's great. Put your money where your mouth is. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
okay, buy it then. Like,
Yeah.
do a
And
pre-sale.
that's why I say it's
you
got
know?
to be genuine, you know.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
as soon as they feel that, and then they start to open up. Then they feel comfortable being their unique selves, and then they realize that where they can go next by starting
yeah.
to be push those boundaries they could never do before because they didn't have any support.
Right,
And
right.
that's a core pillar of what MocoMade and the community is all about.
I got two last questions for you. One is, when you started your Twitch journey, did you think that you would just be sitting nicely at that one desk that you built or bought rather and would make art? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you think you didn't picture what you're doing now? Like you originally probably thought, "Oh, I'm going to make art." Am I right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, our bio on Twitch has never changed. The bio that is below our profile has never changed.
Right.
And it's still wholly accurate, but for a wildly different reason than I ever expected. And
Right.
off the top of my head, I don't know what it says, but it says something along the lines of Derek and Devyn are artists and entrepreneurs that are passionate about making things, and we want to share that passion with the world, and through that, help people understand the work that all artists and artisans do.
That's it.
But we thought that through
But
making
the
it
truth is
ourselves.
yes.
Right. You would sit
that-
quietly, nicely at your desk. You would
Yeah.
make some stuff. You two would talk to each other probably a little bit, right?
Yeah, and interact with chat, because I was a Twitch viewer. Devyn was
Sure.
completely
I
blind
had
to that.
no idea.
I've
But
been
you
on
thought-
Twitch for 12 years, so I've been on Twitch a long time.
Right.
So I understood that part of it, but I definitely thought we would just be having this interactive environment where we're working on our art, but because we're showing people how we work on our art, they'll understand the value of art.
Right.
And the statement of that bio is still wholly true and has never changed once, but man, has the way that it's played out and the meaning behind it
So different.
is so different. And that was never planned. It just kind of happened. I don't even know how. I couldn't possibly tell you how.
There's no roadmap. Well, and that's the cool thing that I think, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because there's no roadmap.
No.
Right? And I mean, how it happened was you got in a boat and you didn't have any paddles and you just fucking let the river take you wherever.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
somehow the boat hasn't capsized yet, so that's good.
Yeah, it's true. We didn't know.
I hate roadmaps.
And yeah,
yeah.
They're
fuck 'em out.
so. I don't like being kept in a box.
Yeah.
Let me do what I want to do when I feel like doing it.
I feel that
and
way
we'll
about
figure out where
business
we
plans.
get to. You know,
all of this journey started because I wrote
Love
a
it.
business plan as a capstone class for my senior, portfolio in college,
Yeah.
and man, I freaking hate business plans.
Yeah.
I hate
And
them.
your business plan definitely said go on Twitch every day, interact with people, sit with my sister.
Well, I can tell you
drop my
that
balls on the website.
That business plan got us pre-approved for 2 small business loans and then denied. That's all that business plan ever did for us. And by that point, the business plan was outdated and you have to rewrite the whole business plan again.
Awesome.
And it was like, I don't like, and we're probably, this is kind of against our schooling.
So you go into all this.
No, it's against our schooling to say that you don't need the
2
plan.
more questions and Derek's going into his business plan hatred.
I'm not going into that. I'm just saying that's against our schooling to be like, there needs to be a robe there. We are very much not like that, but that's our personalities, and not everybody's that way. But like, man, I don't think that you should be spending months writing a business plan rather than doing things too.
Yeah.
Like, and people do that, and
I think a lot of people get lost in that.
Yeah,
especially
just a business plan, just planning of any kind.
Yeah.
Like,
but
you gotta be doing the thing first.
You just gotta do stuff. You guys said that right from the get-go. It's like you just gotta fucking start doing stuff. Like, you can't wait. You can't wait. There's never gonna be perfect, like you said, Devin. Mm-hmm. It's like you just have to do the thing, and the second one might be better, and the third one hopefully will be a little better than that. And
100%.
Keep putting it out there.
That's not for everybody.
No one became a master
some people
by writing down what they are going
Some
to
people
do.
need to plan more than others. I'm not saying people can operate like we do, because I don't really know anyone that could operate the way Devin and I do. So freeform as it is. Sure. But at the same time, you have to be doing the thing first before the other things can happen that you're planning for. Because if you just plan, well, if you don't do, then what's the plan?
Yeah,
the
I
plan
don't
was
know how many
nothing.
times I've asked people, like, they plan and they do everything, and I'm like, okay, but where are you going to sell them? What are you going to sell it for?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, bleh, like, that's the hardest question on the planet.
Do the thing first.
I was like, wait, you haven't even thought of like how much you might sell a thing for? Like, how many hours did you spend on that? Like, that's the other thing too, right? We get to how many different, and I'm like, how much are you gonna charge for this thing? And they're like, well, I don't know, the canvas cost this and the paint was that much, so I don't know, I'll try and make it like $40. And I'm like, well, how many years did you take to fucking learn to paint that? And they're like, yeah, but it was really quick.
Gosh.
And I'm like, okay, great. You know what? I'm a really fucking fast video editor. You know why? Because I've been doing it for 20 years. So I'm going to charge 3 times as much because it took me 20 years to get this fucking fast.
You're supposed to make, if you tell someone,
gosh, yes,
it's like if you tell someone you worked at a company for 20 years and therefore you've gotten a steady pay raise because you've been there for 20 years. You got to think of that from the entrepreneur maker side of things, the artist side of things. If just because you could do things faster, that's because of the experience you gained that you would have been
and
paid.
Because of that experience, you're better.
You're better, and you charge more. You charge more, and it takes you less time, thus more profits, and that's what you have to. That if you told someone you've worked at this company 20 years, but you haven't made a pay increase, they'd be like, "Well, you should have left that company 10 years ago." Okay, well, you're doing that to yourself in your own business.
100%.
Think about that for a second. Like, you're doing that to yourself by thinking you need to charge less because that took you 2 hours less time. No, you actually charge more, and the less time. It's a double whammy of more money, more income from that same project. And that's what all.
I always ask people when they're thinking about this stuff. I'm always like, would you hire yourself or would you fire yourself right now? if what you're doing, would you fire yourself if you're making like $8 a month of selling your art and you say, and because you're not doing these things, what would you do with yourself?
I've honestly never thought about the pay raise analogy. Like, I love what you just said about firing yourself. Like, ask someone that question. I bet you they think, I would. If I was my boss and this was a corporate ladder, I would have been fired. And I never thought about the corporate ladder thing. It's
if
super
you said
relevant.
you were going to stream 5 days a week, and then you only showed up 3 days a week very consistently, your ass would be on the fucking street.
Yeah,
it would.
So it's okay. You got to show up 5 days a week.
And that's what we tell people about consistency too. Like, I'd rather people tell me they're going to show up for 2 days a week and show up for those 2 days, day in, week out, than tell me I'm going to show up for 5 and stream 4.
100%.
Because as soon as you stop showing up for some of them, you leave that doubt in, and it's a subconscious thing. Like, people pencil you into their schedules subconsciously. And when you are consistent, especially at the level like people like us are, people know if it's a weekday afternoon, MocoMade is live.
Yep.
They know for a fact. Yep. And that might be
I know all the time. Like, I always know in my head. I'm like, it goes live right now. I don't even have to look at the calendar. I don't have to look at the time.
Exactly.
You're on.
They
They're
might
on.
know that some other people that don't stream as much are on, and that might be where they go that day, right?
Sure.
And that's a reality of the situation. We're so consistent that if someone's on who's not usually on, like, viewers are going to go watch them. But at the end of the day, you stay that consistent, and people always know, well, this person, this and this person are not on, but I know MocoMade is.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That consistency might not show up in the short term, but in the long term, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
literally everything. It matters a lot.
100%. I agree. All right, I got one last question for you. It took us a minute to get there, but I got one last question for you.
Derek is a yapper. Did you know that?
Yapping too.
Me too. You too. We're all 3 yappers in one.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's hard.
Yeah, I actually said that this afternoon on our stream, like that. There's 3 yappers going to be on this.
Yeah. That's fair. All right, last question. So aside from $1 million, if the world could give you anything to help your creative path forward, what would you say you would take? What would you need to keep moving forward?
I would take a warehouse studio.
Studio. More space, bigger space.
No, I don't even need that.
It's
if
not
it were
even-
this size, but independent, like right down on
And
my
high
property.
ceilings, and not
There
in a
you go.
basement, and like listen,
That's
it's
what I
cold.
take.
It's cold down here. Devin sits on a heated blanket. I know this is from Kel's Bells from Ball. We
Yeah,
call it
yeah.
balls.
Yeah.
I wear this. I have this down here all the time because, like, it's okay down here, but it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable.
Right.
It's a great space, but it's not comfortable. If we had the same space in like a warehouse studio that had big ceilings, we have behind me these cabinets full of art from our community that are just kind of stuffed in these cabinets. But we don't have walls down here in the basement, I want to put that stuff up on walls. I want to show off all this cool shit we have that's not from us, but from our community.
Right.
And
That's what I would do.
Yeah, I think.
But we will do that. I would
Yeah.
say that's like a 5-year plan
Yeah,
to
That's cool.
acquire an
that's
independent studio on the
it's
property.
a big thing.
On the property.
Yeah.
Um,
It
Right.
would just be.
Right.
Because I'm not done having babies. So.
It'd be so much more
Wanna keep
comfortable
them
to have,
close.
air conditioning when we need it, heat when we need it, but not just, it's always cold down here. In fact, it's colder down here during the summer than it is the winter sometimes because the air conditioning's running upstairs.
Sure.
And It's a great space, but is it our permanent space? No. And it could be significantly more comfortable. If it wasn't like a cold concrete basement.
My
Uh,
reasons are even different than Derek's. But yeah, that's what I would take.
Yeah.
$1 million wouldn't be bad though. $1 million?
Yeah.
$1 million would pay for that and pay for a couple of other things.
I just always say not $1 million because people,
I know.
Yeah.
I want $1 million, but space. I take all your points about that stuff, and I do. Space is important, even in like no matter what space you create, and it's like you guys are making this work, obviously, but it's like I don't think people put enough emphasis into making their space work for them.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you guys are, but 100%.
And one other
Yeah.
thing I thought of that, beyond that, it kind of goes hand in hand with money, but it's actually more things than money. The one thing that we've struggled with is sponsors.
Mm.
We have 8,000, just shy of 8,000 followers on Twitch, but it's very obvious that our influence is way greater than that follower number. But convincing sponsors of that has been impossible so far.
Yeah.
We failed and struck out at. We barely
Talk
got an answer.
about failure. Holy shit.
We've only gotten one answer from the brand Angelus that we use for all of our paint and leather and dye. And there was a very positive denial. Like, we're just not looking for sponsors right now. We have checked out your content. We want to send you a care package. Like, that's
Right.
the only person who's even responded to us. But like the influence of
pretty
our
cool.
community is so much stronger than our viewer average and our follower number because of what we do. Like the culture that our community has. Convincing sponsors of that has been incredibly difficult, but getting those sponsors would mean everything.
Yeah, for sure.
To upgrading the studio, even as it is, without me leaving the basement, upgrading our
Sure.
cameras, upgrading our PC, our monitors. We're using ancient television, like, an actual, like, we're using a Yeti that's sitting in the middle of our table. Like, there's so many things from a sponsor perspective that could be improved without giving us money.
Right.
Giving us things, which is money, but not giving us
Sure.
money, but also giving us, sponsors for the events, giveaways for those. Like
Sure.
now we got people and companies in on the big things we're doing for charity and for small businesses. Beyond the studio, like Devin said, that would be like that's our 2025 like major thing we want to accomplish is to land some sponsors because we genuinely believe that our community is worthy of being sponsored, and that's
sure.
a big thing. It's a big thing.
What's your number one? If there was a piece of equipment that you need, what would it be? Is it a camera? Is it a mic? Is
cameras?
It
Probably cameras is the main one first. Yeah.
Camera. We have.
Actually, wait, I lied. A PC.
Cameras are the biggest piece of equipment.
Struggling.
Yeah, cameras are like the biggest upgrade that our stream would have quality wise.
Yeah.
Because like if they were all the same, because that Devyn's face cam is a Sony ZV-1. It's a really nice cam. If all of our cams were of that quality, our stream quality would go way up. Because instead we have like, I don't know if you're going to see this.
Can you see that?
You can see some of the studio.
Yeah.
Like
it's bad.
This fisheye all-key, I think, is what the brand is just awful. It shows you the studio. It shows you we're in the same space.
Look at, they can't see any of it.
Well, no, but they can see the quality of the camera.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's not. Oh wait, that's the wrong scene. I got to go back.
What are you doing?
But the big thing, the first thing would be a PC because it's 3.5 years of streaming every single day on this. We've done some dual PC stream. Like we play 2 games at the same time on this PC. Yeah. Like we do some crazy stuff on this thing, and it's been so good to us. We got a peak pandemic when everybody didn't know what you were getting in a pre-built, and that's what we got. Yeah. And we've got a hell of a PC. But man, at 3.5 years, I know it's on its way out, and we need something. We need something to replace it. So that would be the first one.
Fair. That's fair.
We had some small local PC company like say that they're all about small business, and that's how we pitch them. And they didn't answer us. So we're like, well, that's not a very small business response. Small business would be like, thank you for your interest, but we're not interested. But like that, we got ignored. I was like, well, that's very small business of you. Yeah, that would be the first thing, though. Just to be sure we can still stream. So
I hope as continue goes on. I hope you have better luck. I know you will.
We are.
Yeah, you know you will. You know you will.
We will, and we have plans to make it better. We're working on a promotional video that really focuses on the big events because I think what's going to draw sponsors in is the big things we do, showing them that impact that has, and then being able to reverse back to, well, you saw how well that big event went. Like, isn't this a community you want to sponsor, you know, in a more complete manner?
And we'll follow up in February.
Yeah. We'll do a recap. We'll have a recap episode. We'll figure out. We'll go through the list. We'll say, all right, what did you call? Like, what did we get here? Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys so much for doing this. You know, your energy is just so awesome. I know that people are gonna love listening to this. I know that people are going to hopefully go to your streams if they haven't already, and they're going to buy all kinds of cool shit from you and support you and get you a computer, you know?
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. I'm so glad we were able to get this to work out.
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it.
Yes, guys. Wow, what a freaking great episode. Man, I love having those two. And if you haven't had a chance to go over to twitch.tv/MocoMade, all the links and everything are in the description, rather. You got to go check them out, man. They are so good, so energetic. They are a positive force, and they will push you forward. What an amazing... They show up 5 days a week. 5 days a week. They're there. They're hanging out. They're hanging out for you. They're hanging out for themselves. They're doing stuff. They're pushing so many people forward. I love the fact that they've been building community around them. You know, we talk a lot about team and community and developing. There could be no better example than that. And I hope that as you listen to this episode, you felt that energy, you saw that energy in their faces, you heard it in their voices, and that propels you forward to go out and do the things that you're going to do. As always, if you're working on stuff, you need to figure stuff out, reach out, domorecoolshit.com, send me a note, drop me a note. I would love to hear how you're preparing for 2025. I would love to hear any of the lessons you've been following along here. There's conversation, there's comments now in everywhere. There's comments in YouTube and Spotify and all the places you're listening to podcasts. So please, let's start this conversation. Let's continue this conversation. Let me know what's going on. I love hearing feedback from you guys. And of course, one thing I don't really talk about that very often, it's been an amazing ride so far. If you want to give any of these episodes a rating and anything, I'll take it. You know, good or bad. I want to hear the good and the bad so that we can improve, so that I can improve, so that I can bring you better stuff. So thank you so much for listening or watching, and I will see you in the next one. And happy creating out there, you creative nerds. Bye for now.